Hello, welcome to Fat Mascara. We're both back.
Welcome.
I am Jen Sullivan.
I'm Jessica Matlin. We are shot out of a cannon this morning. You have no idea the kind of crazy pre-studio prep.
It's a midsummer manic moment.
I never saw that movie. No desire.
No, me neither. But I was just like channeling every magazine year I spent doing alliterative headlines just then. So you're welcome.
Okay.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
So yeah, we're doing the news because it's Wednesday and just chatting. And Jess and I haven't been on the mic with you in like 3 weeks, I think. So hi.
We recorded yesterday. I have no idea what you're talking about.
But for the listeners, that was something special. More on that soon.
Yeah.
But the texts were a flurry last night and this whole past week when we saw the news that we just have to talk about, the Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, yeah, the texts were popping.
Devil Wears Prada, the movie, which honestly, it just informs pretty much Jess and my lives. Would you say? Like, I mean, that is my life. Was my life.
Well, the thing that's so funny, I think I've said this on the air before, but I'll never forget. The first time I saw that, we took like a class trip. I was at W at the time. We took a class trip to a screening room. I don't know who organized it.
The year was 2006.
Was it 2006?
Mm-hmm.
It sounds about right. 2006, we took a class trip and we all left and we were all quiet. And somebody said, I don't know if it was me who said it or somebody said it, too close to the bone.
It's your narrative and retelling. Let's give you the good line. Too close to the bone. So
maybe it was me. I don't know. But the thing is, we all were quiet. And I think everyone liked it. There was no no one panned
If you don't
it.
like Devil Wears Prada, you definitely don't listen to this podcast. There's too much Venn diagram overlap. For people who don't know what news I'm talking about, so Puck News, the newsletter, broke the news that Disney is going to be making a sequel to the film. Rumors are the same screenwriter, Aline Brosh McKenna, is back. Maybe the same director. But all signs point to Meryl Streep, and this is, remember, we record like a couple days before you hear this, so more news might be coming out. Meryl Streep and Emily Blunt will be back. I mean, that was Emily Blunt's career-making role.
Yeah.
Like, that's when you were like, who's this? She stole every scene she was in. What do you want out of the plot? That's what I want to know.
I mean, Jen, like, I feel like we both are going to have a lot of thoughts. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
Of course I have thoughts. Do you love when I ask someone else their thoughts, which is just an entree for me to give my thoughts?
It's for you to buy extra time to think of more of your thoughts.
Because I could go on. Call me, Aline. I'll give you some things. But I feel that we all in fashion, beauty, and media for the last 20-ish years since the 2006 have watched the whole world change, print magazines decline, influencers rise, the way we think about fashion and beauty completely change, the trend cycle speed up. And these are like, they might seem like superficial topics, but they're quite heavy in the industries that they're in. And like a smart screenwriter could really do this justice to tell like the larger story of what has happened in these industries with a fun rom-com-y plot. You know what I'm saying?
First of all, like, I just want to say I am for hire. Second of all,
yes. Are you acting or are you screenwriting?
I was thinking, like, I would like to be in the writer's room. I'd like to consult. I'm just bursting with anecdotes, okay?
We watched some of the big personalities get pissed at influencers and flame out because we were still their assistants at the time.
I'll never forget. Okay, so this is something that, like, oh my God, like, I know we have other things to talk about. I feel like we could just make this whole episode about this, but the initial skepticism, and I don't know how they would want to show this, if it's time-lapse, because you have to think about like timing, but the initial skepticism that the ecosystem was going to change. I'll never forget an editor being like, oh, should we feature whatever influencer? I'm going to say, let's pretend it's Jaclyn Hill. Should we feature her? And it was like, please.
Oh, that's like the YouTube part of it. That's not even like Brian Boy and the fashion influencers.
But that's what I'm saying, like the initial, like the first brick in the wall. Like, these people will be gone next week.
I didn't think that. Did you think that?
I think I had a feeling of things are changing, but I didn't think like, oh, it's over. Like, your desk is going to be vacated in 2 years. Like, that kind of thing. But you felt a sea change. That sort of thing. I think I'm curious to see, because you don't know where the movie's going to pick up, but the initial skepticism from people will be interesting to see. And I mean, they might do something very literal, like, oh, Brian Boy's sitting in the front row.
I expect something smarter this time around. We have too much time and to have processed it all of that change and then the pandemic to just treat it lightly.
I hope it's not going to be that on the nose of like the influencers are sitting next to Miranda Priestley at the big dinner,
I would like it as like a bigger conversation on how we feel like culture is just speeding ahead and washing over us and how do you keep up? But I'm sure there's going to be some love story in there with the chef.
I'm also hoping, and I was talking about this with my friend Adam, the sort of, and this is a bigger question, I don't know if they're going to want to tackle this, but like for all of the kind of fabulousness that people love from the movie and like the coats and the this and the, the trips, they are like Miranda Priestley got to where she is because she's a journalist, because she's a figure of credibility, not just because she's deeply fabulous. And yes, of course, they're not getting into like her journalistic credentials in the movie, but they are like, it's a fabulous journalistic publication, right? So are they going to get into the fact that journalism is changing?
Yeah. Possibly. I want it behind the scenes the way that was for fashion magazines. I want that for the influencer lifestyle. That's what I want. I want the main character to not even be in print magazines and journalism. I want it to be an influencer so we can peel back the curtain on that.
But will they show that? Will they show how that's different?
I don't know. Any dream casting you have? Like anybody you would like love to see in a sequel?
I haven't thought about that.
I got to put Timothée Chalamet. You know how much I love him. Put him somewhere, please, in this movie. I don't care what he does. Even if he's like, you remember how underdeveloped the rom-com plot was and the Adrian Grenier as the chef? And it was just like an afterthought. I loved it that it was just like, who cares about the romance? This is a career story,
Yeah. And, and I wonder how they would, the character, it's so funny when like Stanley Tucci was like, a 4 is an 8 or like a 2 is you're heavy, like that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, the whole makeover plot. Yeah.
I think they would handle that differently because now it'd be like, she would be like, that's not okay. Or they said like, and
no, Stanley Tucci would be like, let's go to the derm. You need lip filler. You need your Botox. Like,
but I think they would have her character be like, you can't tell me what to do. Like,
okay.
I feel like it would be a little bit more
enlightened,
so to speak. Yeah. And I think also now, like in the rearview mirror, people say like Adrian Grenier like was not like a great boyfriend because he wasn't,
he sucked.
Yeah. It's just, I think it's going to be different.
I'm so excited.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, call us if you need some plot points because we've been tracking them both on this podcast, like a lot on this podcast over the last 8 years, but also just in our careers as journalists and how they've changed. So,
wait, can I tell you one thing I always think about?
You can.
And then we're going to move on.
Yeah.
It's like you and I have both lived this in real time. We've like seen this in real time. But one of the most telling things I've ever seen was like when you talk about that shift was seeing, and one, I don't want to call out the place, I don't want to call out the magazine, but just seeing how the office got emptier and emptier and emptier.
Yeah, as fewer and fewer people did more and more work. That's what happened.
No, but I mean like the desks, like the cubicles. Like it would be like, oh, that cubicle's empty. The cubicle's empty.
Well, right, because they were downsizing the entire industry.
But just the visual.
Oh, the visual, yeah.
And I remember one time my friend, she called me from the floor and she called me and she goes, are you here? And I said, she didn't call me, she texted me.
Hello over there.
And I said like, no, I'm on another floor. She goes, your floor looks apocalyptic.
Yeah. It's a visual representation of the downsizing of an industry. Yeah. Okay, let's get into some other stuff.
Yeah.
Don't think we won't be reporting on this news as it continues. I love this like I love Emily in Paris. Give it to me, So we'll keep reporting.
It's really fascinating.
Let's take a quick break and then get into the news.
Okay, let's get to some news. So, our wonderful colleague, a wonderful writer, her name is Sophia Panich. She did a piece in Harper's Bazaar about a new fragrance trend. Is it a new fragrance trend? Fragrance trends are always like, I feel like they're cyclical, but this one I don't really hear about so much. So I'm going to co-sign this as new. We know about strawberry makeup. Have you heard about the strawberry scent moment, Jen?
Well, yeah, because it's my job, I guess, but.
Okay.
Strawberries are the new cherries, Jess. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, I was psyched that she called me to chat a little bit about this fragrance trend. And I gave her a couple quotes, but I'm going to give you the deeper dive about why I think this is also a moment. And I'm going to also call it some of the fragrances that she really loves right now. Dior Holy Peony, Melanie Gets Strawberry Eau de Parfum. One that I really love, by the way, this is not a Moda fragrance. This is one of the most cheap and cheerful fragrances that I love. Le Monde Gourmand, by the way.
Oh, I know it.
You know Le Monde Gourmand?
Yeah. And the name of the fragrance?
Le Monde Gourmand, Frais Fouette. Okay, it's French, okay? But we know like Frais means like strawberry. It's delicious. If you've ever had a strawberry shortcake doll, it kind of smells like her head.
Oh.
It is delicious. So it's just like trending on TikTok. It's trending in the moment. Here's why I think it smells fabulous. This is why I think it's having a fabulous moment. It's very easy. It's easy to understand. It's nostalgic. It's very sellable. It's cute. I think this is the kind of thing people like. Fragrance is hard to understand. It's very esoteric. It could feel a little highfalutin, as my mother would say. But this is
Strawberries ain't highfalutin.
It's strawberries and highfalutin, but there's also a moment that's happening in the culture right now with strawberries. First of all, have you gone to buy berries lately?
Oh, yeah. We're not talking about Strawberry Girl Summer, which was last summer. We're talking about the Oi strawberry versus the Driscoll's high-end strawberry.
Yes.
The new breed from Driscoll's is just as sweet as the ones.
Yes.
Like, come on.
Berries, like strawberries themselves are having a moment. So I think there's just something kind of exotic and fabulous and kind of luxurious about strawberries themselves. So it's like this nostalgic moment and it's this luxury moment and it's just sort of this cute throwback moment. I have to tell you, the Le Monde one is adorable. My daughter loves it. We're also using it as a little bit of a home freshener right now as well. So
sharp price point on Le Monde.
It's razor sharp. You can afford to spray it around your home.
Sharp price point on Le Monde. $25 for a bottle of Le Monde. Gotta love that.
And it's sizable. It's so cute. Okay. Troye Sivan is having a moment, not just in music. He's going on tour with Charlie XCX in the fall, but he's also Rabanne's first global makeup ambassador.
Wait, is that how you say the fashion label?
Yes. Rabanne,
because I thought you were saying Ray-Bans the sunglasses.
I'm saying Ray-Ban like sunglasses. I don't know why I said Ray-Ban.
Paco Rabanne.
Yeah. Okay. Well, they dropped the Paco a while ago.
Oh, my bad.
Saint Laurent, like YSL. Like,
this is Rabanne the fashion house, not Ray-Ban the sunglasses.
I think we called this, not necessarily the Rabanne moment, but I feel like we called Troye on this show as a beauty.
You should. Just to clarify the news, though, he is their first makeup ambassador, not for the fashion house's makeup line.
But he's been wearing Rabanne for a while now.
But go on. You are our resident Troye expert from that music video that you fell in love with.
Okay. We were talking about Rush like last year, around like this time last year. The skin, the lashes, the whole vibe. I tracked down the makeup artist, remember, in Germany? And I was like, give me the deets. Of course, it was a lot of Weleda skin food. Mm-hmm. But he oozes beauty. You want that vibe. You want that delicious Troye look. I don't care who you are. So I'm glad they recognize that in him.
I won't give you the counter to that. I'll just allow that to be said. Sure. Everybody wants that.
I want that delicious.
That's what I was going to say. You particularly want it. I don't think we can say everybody wants it, but yes.
Maybe not everyone, but I want to be slithering around like Troye. Don't think I don't try to learn those dance moves by myself in the bathroom.
Well, now you can look like him
before
too,
a shower
with your Rabanne makeup, because I know you'll be all over that. Yes.
Oh my God.
So good.
Yeah. So anyway, so what's going on?
I have news to share with you that I want to talk about. Did you know last week the first Miss AI was crowned?
Oh,
so earlier
Lord.
this spring, they announced the inaugural Miss AI. It was put on by FanView, an influencer platform for AI and human creators. Okay, 1,500 programmers around the world entered theirs. I'm just going to put this in quotes, quote unquote, contestants, because these are fake people. These are AI-generated imagery and sound and like social media accounts, which we all know exist, but who knew that they were going to have their own pageant? So last week, they announced the winner. It is Kenza Lele. She is, I can't even say she.
But did somebody create her?
Yeah, there's a programmer. So in a way, you're celebrating the programmer as well. and their art and science that created this, fine. But I think we need a new pronoun because I don't want to call her a she because like she's not human. But anyway, and I don't want to call her it, whatever. But the AI creation Kenza won. And I'll just say she, it's easier. She said in her acceptance speech, which was also AI generated, that she was excited to bring diversity and inclusivity to the AI creator space. So this account for this fake person, which is AI generated, has 200,000 Instagram followers. And she's objectively beautiful. She was created by...
Wait, the creator has 200,000 Instagram followers?
No, the fake person.
And those are real followers, right?
Real humans follow fake AI people. And this pageant was to be like, who of these fake people wins the pageant? So and then when she won, FanView had them be like, what's your acceptance speech, which was AI generated. And it said, quote, I am committed to promoting diversity and inclusivity within the field, ensuring that everyone has a seat at the table of technological progress.
God bless you that you had the comprehension skills to follow all that.
Well, no, I mean, and after my interview with Alex Box last week, I was like, this is happening. We need to insert humanity into these conversations. Like, we can't just let it be okay. First of all, pageants, I kind of have an issue with to begin with. I feel like they don't always celebrate the best things about people.
Yeah,
so
agree.
Part of me is like, can't we have like a programming exam instead? Like, I don't want to make it about this fake, pretty human, and they're almost all female-ish looking with like the same things. And it gives me the ick. Just going to say it.
Would you rather celebrate like the programmer? Like, let's celebrate the person who...
Yes. And
like instead of celebrating like the
fake bot thing.
Miss AI, like let's celebrate Joe Schmo.
Yes. Do I think that would have gotten as much press and been as exciting to follow? No, because like we are still celebrating the creator because it's like, look at what they were able to create. So I get that the pageant winner is also the person behind the bot, but nobody knows who that is. Like, you know who now the fake Layla is.
Yeah, I'd rather hear about, like, it's like almost like a song. You want to hear about the artist. You don't.
Exactly. Like, I want to know, why did you give her this look? Why is inclusivity like something you think is important that you want the bot to represent as important?
I would love to hear more from the artist. Yeah, like the artist should step out and be like, I made her like this because she reminded me of, my sister.
But one could say, with the same with
grandma.
music, if a musician's always like, just listen to the song and you know everything you need to know about me. What? That is a thing that people say. Anyway, I think someone smarter than me gave a really good quote about this that I will conclude with. This is Dr. Carrie McInerney. Sorry if I messed up your last name. A research associate at the Leverhulme Center for the Future of Intelligence at the University of Cambridge. They told CNN in a video interview after this like short list of who the winners were going to be that, quote, I think we're starting to increasingly lose touch with what an unedited face looks like. Because if you look at all of the pageant contestants, to which I say, yeah, you think? Like, not even just in AI. If you looked at any other pageant in the world, people are starting to look more and more the same. And you can say you like want diversity and inclusion, but the algorithm is like making everybody mush together into this one like bot looking thing. So I think that's a very good point that they bring up. And as technology continues, can we just chill on the fake unedited faces a little bit? Thank you.
All right, moving on. That's really interesting. A couple weeks ago, I wanted to tell you about this. I've been saving it, but we haven't had a chance to chitty chat. I went to this thing at Estée Lauder, and not a lot of people know about this piece of Estée Lauder that is really cool. I feel like when we talk about Estée Lauder, we do a lot of like, Clinique, MAC, Estée Lauder brand, but they have a piece of their business called New Incubation Ventures, which is about smaller brands and brands that they're working with. It makes sense that they wouldn't be chatting to like the broader public about it, but it's a cool piece of their business. So I did a panel with them, but one of the panels that I was watching, not the panel that I was on, was really interesting. And it was about entrepreneurship. And they had 3 venture capitalists on it. And that may seem like, well, if you're not trying to get venture capital, this might not seem relevant to you. But I was sitting in the audience and I was like, these are just really good tips for, I think, anyone who is a creative or who is an entrepreneur, even if you're not trying to get millions of dollars. So I wanted to share them with you because I think you might find something in it that is relevant or it might speak to you. So I'm just going to run down. It's like your little backstage pass to this super cool kind of panel that I attended. All right, so here you go. By the way, the people who were on it were Rich Gersten, who is the co-founder and managing partner from True Beauty Ventures, and Brian Thorne, partner for Silas Capital, and Kelly Deal, the partner for Imaginary Ventures. All right. Number one, guys, ready? If you've got a brand that you're working on, whether it's a beauty brand or anything else, don't come out with too much stuff. All right?
Less stuff.
Less stuff, all right? Don't launch too many products. And I like this because Jen and I can tell you, sometimes we sit with a brand or a beauty summit and it's like, and here's the serum, and here's the eye cream, and here's the nose hair, follicle trimmer. Like, it's like too much. So just really think about how productive your assortment is going to be.
This is for consumer goods because obviously entrepreneurs could be a salon owner and things like that. But the edit is the key. I love it. Good point.
I thought that was just really smart. And it also made me think of I always think of this as the best example of this, Glam Glow. Okay, they're not killing it today, but when Glam Glow came out, I felt like every editor was like, it's just one product. It's just one mask. And then, of course, you got to grow. And I don't know what happened with them, but one thing makes it just so much easier to focus. And I can also say that as a retailer myself. Okay, I love this. More heads are better than one. And honestly, I feel that way with you, Jen. I think sometimes in my head about something, we hop on the phone, we talk about something. It's better. So you just bash your head against the wall with a problem, and then you talk something out, and
yeah, you bring more people into the fold. You bring in Julie, you bring in Garrett. 4 heads are better than one.
Yeah. I think entrepreneurship can be very lonely, and sometimes you just need something else. All right, if you're pitching an idea to somebody and you know there's something wrong with it, and I really like that this person mentioned this. This one was Kelly. You want to, this is very Succession, control the narrative, if you know what I'm talking about. If you know there's something wrong with it, point it out. So if you know that you're talking about the cap is loose, or
it doesn't even have to be a beauty product. This is everybody in every job everywhere giving a presentation.
Yeah, if you know there's something wrong with it, don't just, nothing to see here, point it out. I don't think you need to make a big deal of it, that this is me jumping in now, but I think we haven't quite worked on this yet, or yes, the label's a little funky junky, but we're going to massage that out next year when we have
addendum. Put that in the beginning of the presentation and then say, here's the fix, moving on, here's all the great stuff. And when your presentation's over, everybody remembers the great stuff.
Exactly. And then a couple more. Love this. And I think this is even if you're not an entrepreneur. Ready? Remember, there are reasons people say no to you and they have nothing to do with you.
Mm-hmm. Don't take it personal.
Mm-hmm. It's often not personal. And
hard lesson.
Yeah, very often we're not taking a brand. We're not taking your product. It's not whatever it is.
You didn't get the job that you applied for.
Yeah. It's got Zippo to do with you. And then last but not least, ready? When this person is looking to work with somebody, it is really, I thought these were 3 good things to keep in mind when you're thinking about how you position yourself. This person, when they're buying a brand, they're thinking about the people they're working with. And that is such a big part of it. It's like the relationship. So yeah, you could have the greatest product. It's really the people. So it's not 1 or 2 dates. It's not well, my deck was so awesome. It's a relationship.
Let me make this relatable. You're trying to find a plumber. You're trying to find a carpenter for your house. Somebody has one price. They have the good reviews. Who do you like? Who do you vibe with? Who would you want coming into your house and fixing this? Or who would you want to be working with on a business relationship selling a beauty product?
It's a long game. Yes. So it's not, you can't rush these things.
These aren't even just tips for entrepreneurs. These are good, just who stole my cheese kind of tips.
Yeah, it's good long game. I don't know. I was really engaged in this panel. I don't know. These things stuck with me, and I thought we have so many people listening to this show who are in business, in beauty, and enjoy this kind of thing. So I wanted to share this with you.
Okay, that was really helpful. Love the little self-help corner.
I love self-help stuff. I just eat it up.
And I love science. And you haven't been into my science corner in a minute, so let's all go there. Okay, this one is serious, and I bet if you're a woman or someone who menstruates, you've read about it, so I need to cover it.
I know where you're going.
A new study published in the journal Environment International found evidence of 16 different heavy metals and a wide range of metals in tampons that are sold in the United States and Europe. Okay, very alarmist. right?
Okay, I'm not trying to get us sued, but these like big name tampons.
They did not. I really like this about. There's some things about the study that I thought were like questionable. They did not name the brands of the tampons because the researchers said that's going to take away from our point, because that then whichever had the highest level of X ingredient is going to be called out, and their drama will ensue. But ultimately, they said both organic and non-organic tampons had this issue. Like, it was across the board. They were trying to point out this is happening not just to one brand of tampons. Okay. So obviously, we know many of the heavy metals that they tested for, things like arsenic and lead, have negative health effects, right? But they were testing not in humans. They were just testing like the fiber that absorbs, right? So they're not able to show that then you absorb these metals. So that's one thing just to point out if you're really nervous about this. Okay, that said, I don't want something that has a lot of heavy metals sitting next to my mucous membranes for hours at a time.
Oh my God, stop.
It's scary. Yeah. It's, we know there's absorbable things that we consume. Like, there's bound to be something negative there, but the study doesn't show that yet. So I was like, okay, I'm going to dig into the study. I looked at it, and all of a sudden I saw the numbers, and they were in like nanograms per grams. My eyes were like, wait, I'm used to parts per billion. What do? I had drinks last night with Val Monroe of the Substack newsletter, How Not to Fuck Up Your Face. And she was like, I have the perfect solution for you. She pointed me to, and I'm going to link to this because I think it gives a really good summary of what the findings are, to Jen Gunther. You've probably heard of her, right? She's a women's health expert, and she does a Substack. And she took all the numbers with another biomedical scientist. She took all of the numbers from this study and converted them to the things we normally think about, like parts per billion in something. And that's what I wanted was context, because I was like, cool, if you tell me there's 28 nanograms per gram of like arsenic in a tampon fiber, does that mean anything to you? Like, that is the highest level they measured.
No, just tell me what to do.
Just tell me, like, what does that mean? So get this. She converts it. The EPA shows you that, like, bottled water, let's just take that arsenic since I came up with that I gave that as the example. In bottled water, if you do the conversion, the EPA allows for up to 2,500 nanograms per gram of arsenic in bottled water. And one tampon has 28. You do the math. Like, in one day, you could never wear enough tampons. And that's not even saying it would get absorbed to be the same level of arsenic in water that you consume that is considered safe by the government. Do you know what I mean? That just shows you. Now, that's just one example. And clearly, if you have a health concern that's like, I'm really worried about cadmium or lead or iron, which in some cases iron can be good for you, you're going to want to look into these numbers with your doctor and ask them about it. But across the board, along with this biomedical scientist, she was saying, even if the results of the study are correct, and we make an assumption, this is a big assumption, even if you absorb all of those, arsenic, cadmium, lead into your vagina, into your system, it's still at levels below safety standards for consumables. So I get that when news like this comes out, this always happens with like a scientific study, I find. The people that are the reporters reporting on it, they talk to the researchers, they give you the baseline news, but they never give context. And I get that you're reporting quickly and you want to get the news out there to women and people who menstruate, but like, I could not find in any mainstream news source, what do these numbers mean? What are these numbers in other things I consume? And then if you see that right away, you see even in supplements, you're allowed to have much higher levels of some of these heavy metals than were found in tampons. And you swallow a supplement and it goes into your stomach and it definitely gets into your bloodstream. That's the point of a supplement. So like, I don't know, health reporters out there, when you're doing a journal and science reporting, can you give me some real world context sometimes? That's just all I want. So I thought since I wanted that, Fat Mascara listeners might, so I wanted to point them to this Substack and I'll link to it.
Thank you.
All right, let's take a quickie break and then we'll go raise some wands and I'll come down from my high horse and chill about science reporting. Okay, it is time to raise a wand. If you all remember, Raise a Wand is evolving, just like we all are. You can call our number 646-481-8182 to ask us anything. If there's like something on the show that moved you and you want us to talk about it, if you have a beauty question, if you want us to try a product, and of course the original Raise a Wand concept, if you have a beauty product you love that you want to raise a wand to, call us and leave a voicemail, text us at that number as well, email us a voice memo file to info@fatmascara.com. So we have Katie here. So Katie's from Rhode Island and she
I'm
called
so
me
glad
back.
somebody got the concept.
Yeah. So well, no, there's a bunch of other ones too, and we'll get through them, but I want people to keep giving us all of that. But Katie called me back after she left the original voicemail you're about to hear, and she was like, by the way, I'm Katie from Rhode Island. So that's Katie from Rhode Island. Katie, take it away.
Hi, Jen and Jess and all the new hosts, Garrett, Julie. Super fun. I'm loving it. I've been a fan from day one, and I've listened to every single episode, so it's fun to have some new blood. So I have a question. I was staying in a hotel last night, and I was like settled in, and I started watching an episode of Sex and the City from season 1. It was called The Baby Shower. And I was so fascinated by the fact that these women who were, I believe, supposed to be all in their very early 30s, like 30, 31, 32, looked like they were 50. I'm 40 years old. I don't look as old as the women being portrayed in these scenes, including like the main characters, like Carrie Bradshaw, and they looked so old, like so much older than young 30s. Women who are in their 30s now, they just don't look like that. I don't know if it's just the fashion or just the makeup or the hair. I don't know, but it plagued me through the whole episode. I know that you guys did a little touch on this a while back about like different generations and how if you look back at photos from like the 70s, 80s, it can look a little older. But I would love to hear like a really in-depth episode or interview about this topic, or at least gather more information, because I'm just fascinated. I find it so, I don't know, I'm so curious about it. So if you have any more thoughts, that's what I would love to talk about. Thanks so much for the pod. Love you guys.
Okay, Katie, I'm so glad you asked. This is a concept that just fascinates me, Garrett, Julie, Jess to no end. Jess, thoughts? I know you have more.
I don't know if she is doing a rewatch on Netflix. I don't know if she's just Sex and the City never left her. First of all, what a great show. I've got it going on constantly, and I love that Jeff is just like, it's like ambient noise in our house. Jeff's into it too now.
Okay.
Sometimes he can't help but wonder, you know what I mean? It's such a great show, such a great show. But listen, I think there's two things. One, I don't know if people really look that much older. I think like as you get older, you just don't think you look older, but you do. So
okay.
I think it's a little bit of like, it's perception.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh my God. But it's like, no, they kind of look their age. But the styling is different. The quality of film is different. It's like you live in your world.
You've touched on my theory, but what else have you got?
You know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
It's just you're looking at a different piece of film. So it's not contextual.
Yeah.
But we've talked about this a million times. There's a uniformity in aesthetic right now that doesn't apply to everyone. I think it's socioeconomic. I think it's geographic. I think it's kind of what you think is pretty. But there is like a look now among a certain sort of like pop cultural thing of beauty right now. And if you're like watching Sex and the City, I'm sure if they were doing a Sex and the City type of show today, not a Sex and the City reboot, that you would see a certain sort of face pop up again and again. It's like actresses, a lot of them have had work done. They got a certain kind of nose. They all kind of get lip filler. Their cheeks are the same kind of placement. You don't have like character in a face the way if you look at, I'm sure, a bunch of headshots from 1979, you're going to get like a Sissy Spacek face. You're going to get like Sybil Shepherd was like a model, but you know what I mean? You're going to get different kinds of faces in a way that if you're in Hollywood today, I think there's going to be like a uniformity to faces.
Right. And she's speaking to the age thing specifically, so you're going to get more naturally aged faces. But you touched on what I think my theory is, the medium. That show was shot before there was HGTV and digitized video, like, you know, when there was still film and there was still video that wasn't the caliber it is now. And I feel like whenever you see images from the non-current mediums, they just look older because you know the technology is older, even if you're not clocking it in real time. For example, have you seen black and white video or film from the 20s that they've colorized?
Mm-hmm.
I've been seeing this a lot with people doing this to old movies, to old just like standard home movies, where they smooth out that like jumpy film quality. They put color on things and all of a sudden you're like, oh, it's more modern. So I feel like when you look at the medium, it's telling you the age subconsciously. So everything looks older, even if they still look like 30-year-olds, you know?
Yeah.
Like if you filmed that show in high def now, There's some of like they had less work done, cosmetic work, and they're less perfected in a way, but I do think that's what a 30-something-year-old looks like.
Yeah, I think it's just contextual. Yeah, it's like the way the film looks. It's the way their haircut is. Like she's talking about the baby shower episode, so it's the woman having the baby shower is Lainey, and she has this short hair. A lot of people don't have that short hairstyle. Every listener with short hair is not like, I have
a little mumsy fashion because it was a baby shower, so everybody's wearing their like.
It's a baby shower in Connecticut, so like people like they kind of.
Makes me think of a funeral in England. Like there's going to be, a fascinator and a shift dress that comes beneath the knee. I don't know. It's just like a look. Life is much more casual now.
I think, they kind of hammed it up a little bit. I think if you put those actresses today, I think if you're doing it today, it would just the styling would be different.
Yeah.
And there's always people who look a little bit older, a little bit younger. I don't know. But I do think a big thing is like with TV shows, God, I think if you put like 20 women who are going to be actresses in Hollywood today, I guarantee a lot of them are not actresses. They're not coming to the table the same way that those actresses in Sex and the City were. They're probably like more theater actresses, or they're not like Hollywood actresses. I don't know. I'm not a thespian, so anyone who's in the acting field, you tell me if I'm wrong, but I think the expectation is the look is a little bit different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it also speaks to, why do we care? Why are we so upset? I do this. I think I said this recently. The only thing I ask Alexa is how tall is X actress and how old is X actor or actress? Because it's a human thing.
But you don't really care.
No, it is, because humans are social animals. We're sort of comparing ourselves to whatever we're seeing on screen. And I'm constantly wanting to know like what age people are. Not because like I'm like, am I aging with my cohort correctly? But more just like it gives me an idea of who they are and their world experience. And also, because I'm judging myself against them. I'm like, is this what a 46-year-old looks like? Is this what, and this came up when we were talking about the 52-year-olds. You saw one 52-year-old looked really old in this Cut article, and then a 52-year-old on Self magazine looked like probably what a real 52-year-old looks like. It's all in the head of the viewer,
Mm-hmm.
So, I could talk about this for hours. But Katie, I'm glad you asked. I'm glad it's like sticking with you the themes that come up on the show. We should raise some wands, though, don't you think? Like, I have a product I'm obsessed with.
What is it?
Oh, I'll go first.
Well, you're obsessed.
Actually, somebody else called in and asked what we thought about this line in general. So I will weigh in. This is the Sarah Creal.
That's a great mascara. Oh, you're holding it, so
I'm holding the mascara, so Jess just gave it away.
Yeah.
I am very into the mascara. I believe it's called Back of the Cab mascara. Is that right?
That's very Sex in the City.
I am into this. So the whole line is meant to be, I believe, for mature women, which fine, okay. But this tubing mascaras can be very dry because the polymers wrap around your lashes, make little tubes, curl it up, maybe thicken it, but they can be drying. This is like a wet tubing mascara. So you can really work it before it dries down and like wing out your lashes and give them that rich black kind of wet lash look, which I have never been able to get from a tubing mascara before. Because honestly, if it's going to be a rich black wet mascara, to me, it's more likely to smudge because it's wetter, more viscous. This somehow has...
Viscous.
Yeah, but this somehow has the tubing that you won't get smudging, which is great for a mature eye, but also that like wet, lush, black, rich look. And I like that it's not a very weighted tube. Like it doesn't feel like she put a ton of weight in there. It's very easy to hold in the hand.
No, I tried it. I like it. I like that it's got a very long, skinny wand, which allows you to get to the base of your lash line and really wiggle from the bottom. Because if you have a fat wand, I like a lot of fat wand mascaras, but what you're not going to be able to do with that is get to the base of your lashes without causing absolute chaos in your lash line and on your lid.
Are you saying fat mascaras are chaos?
Fat mascaras can be quite chaotic. So this is a good one. Clinique had one. I don't know if they still make it, but Clinique had a great mascara that allowed you to... Do you remember that mascara?
Yeah, but I was also going to say the Kevyn Aucoin, The Volume, which the name of that mascara is not, to me, what it is. It's a very skinny brush that lets you get very close. And also a tubing mascara. Not as rich and wet as this one, but a decent one, yeah. So raise a wand to Sarah Creal.
Beauty nuts, beauty ad crazies. I think the Clinique one had the caterpillar in the ad. Please DM me if you know which one I'm talking about. Had a caterpillar crawling on the ad.
Okay. 646-481-8182. Call us about the caterpillar. Jess, what are you raising a wand to today?
All right. I am raising a wand to, on the theme of strawberries, Makeup by Mario, Strawberry Sunset Blush. It's a soft pop, plumping blush veil.
New shade extension to his blushes. Gorgeous.
Yes. But I'm going to challenge the beauty industry, and I'm really talking to color especially. Can we please shorten the names?
You know why they're so long. You work in the business.
Super duper, duper, super califragilistic. Like, it's too much. But amazing blush.
I love that blush.
It's so pretty. So I wore it. I'm doing like a clown. I look like
what's my shade of that blush? Oh, I use Perfect Pink and Strawberry Sunset. They're so close.
But right now, this is a lot on me. I'm demoing for Jen. Right now, it's like a little psychotic.
Oh, the strawberries are more, they're not as close as I thought. The strawberry's warmer.
The strawberry is really warm. So I put this on for the past few days. First day I put it on, my coworker goes, "Oh, you look nice," like on Zoom. And I was like, "Thanks." And then she's like kind of like talking to me like, "What's going on?" I was like, it's fine. And then the next day I wear it in person. She goes, "You're looking nice again." And I was like, what do I normally look like? And that was the only change I made. I think that it really kind of made my skin look more alive.
It's blush, girl. That's blush for you.
But it has like a luminosity. It's not, there's no shimmer in it. But it just has like, it lets your skin shine through. By the way, I also give you a lot in the compact, like a huge amount. Your fingers are not banging against the edges. It's a tremendous compact.
Oh, you do it with fingers. I'm very brushy with this.
No, I use my fingers.
Okay.
And I just dab.
And you love it.
Bob Ross style. Pat, dab. Crazy.
Happy trees on your cheeks.
Yes. Smile. Bobby Brown technique. Just on the cheeks, smile. Just pat where your little cheeks are. You don't have to be fancy.
You know we're not on video, right?
Okay, well, you can use this video. You can use this video.
It's gorgeous. It gives you a sunny disposition.
And then, if you want a little crazy, you can even put a little bit on your eyes.
Yeah, and strawberry is like it's a medium tone pink with a coralish kind of undertone.
Kind of corally, yeah.
Yeah, it's got that cool and warm thing going on that makes it, I feel like, a universally flattering shade.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So, well done, Makeup by Mario.
Raise a wand. Everyone, get your beauty sleep, and we'll see you on Friday.
We hope you enjoyed the show.
It's your reviews and feedback that help us make the podcast even better. Head over to iTunes to rate and review us, or email your thoughts to info@fatmascara.com.
We also want to answer your beauty questions and hear what products you love. To share a Raise a Wand product review or to ask a beauty question, email us at info@fatmascara.
If you send it as a voice memo file, we can even share your voice on the podcast. You can also do that by leaving us a voice message. Our phone number in the United States is 646-481-8182.
Thanks so much for listening.